The fourth wall is a device in fiction where the characters acknowledge the audience or their fictional world in some way. It's a big part of internet humor, so I probably don't need to elaborate, and fighting games have had characters that like to do this from time to time, so I want to look at the history of fighting game characters who have impressed me the most with this concept. These characters tend to do it by interacting with the screen in some way, sometimes unintentionally, or they have a quote or two that acknowledges said fighting game or the player. I'll be judging these characters based on what you could see in a standard match with them, and I'll show the fourth wall breaking actions to start each entry. Also, if characters have similar fourth wall breaks in the same game, I'll bundle those into the same entry. Also, no series will be represented in multiple entries. It's essentially one character per series of origin, but with infinite ties allowed. Now, let's crush the top 10 fourth wall breaking fighting game characters. Number 10. Shadow Labrys in Persona 4 Arena starts a common trend on this list, which is breaking the glass of your screen, a favorite tactic of fellow fourth wall breakers in fighting games. For a super move, Shadow Labrys commands her persona Asterius to give the opponent one strong punch, but not to the left or right as we see it. No, we're punching them towards a direction they can't see, and the stopping point is a nice glass screen that contains them within this TV. We get a nice thud and crack, and then the super is done. Quick and simple, but the screen break really drives in the overwhelming power of this persona. This one could technically skirt around being a fourth wall break, because the tournament in this game takes place in the TV world, but I don't see any other characters in the game interact with the screen like this, so I'll count it. One extra detail I like with this is the screen gets all staticky during the break, making it feel like it's really shaking the innards of your TV. Most screen breaks in fighting games just feature the glass cracking and that's it, so I like how Shadow Labrys takes it one step beyond. The screen still fixes itself once the super is over, but it's a nice temporary effect for a not so nice character.
Labyrinth Shadow, ready.
Number 9. Guilty Gear Strive has two major character-specific fourth wall breaks that you can see in regular combat that stick out to me. The one that comes to mind first is Faust, who's extra creepy in this game. So in his win pose, he grabs the screen, fogs it up with his air of mysteriousness, and then wipes off the mist as he tells us to take care, or something like that. It gives you a very personal perspective of how weird he is, since we get a close-up on his shiny new red eye blinking at us. The other fourth wall break in Strive that comes to mind is Happy Chaos, but only during a timeout, loss, or draw. He shoots at the timer on the heads-up display out of annoyance because it did not let him finish the match, and it causes the screen to crack right where the timer is. That's a really clever idea. He's a zoner who loves his guns, so this is his version of giving the finger to the timer for not being long enough. He swears he would have won if you just gave him 10 more seconds.
Time is up. Chaos wins.
Number 8. This one's a bit difficult to see right away, but you'll understand with the lore. Iroha from Samurai Showdown is a crane who transforms into a human maid and fights to make her master happy. In all of her quotes, she's talking about this mystery person. Master this, master that, master, master, master. It sounds like she's straight up talking to her master directly in these quotes, but maybe she's just intently thinking about them and talking to herself because there's no one else with her. Like she's saying things like, "I'm okay, master, thank you for your patience, master." Well, it turns out, according to the developers themselves, the master that she's talking to is the player. In a bit of wordplay, you, the player, are giving her the fighting strategy she needs, so she is fighting on your behalf, and in return, thanking you for leading her to victory. You are quite literally the master of her fate. Without you pressing buttons, she can't move at all. This also adds context to her intro and win pose. She starts the match by bowing towards the screen while talking in that direction, and after winning, she waves towards the screen while saying something, which is not some weird way to avoid making eye contact with her opponent, but rather indicating that she's giving you a pre- and post-fight pep talk. In the 2019 reboot though, I feel her eyes go a bit far off to the side in that win pose, where it doesn't break the fourth wall as much. But maybe she just expects the player to sit further left of the screen now. Regardless, it is indeed intentional that she's not facing her opponents here, so watch out or else she might fly out of the screen at ya.
絶対見ないでください。あなたに恨みはありませんが、旦那様のために。
勝負あり。勝者イロハ。
見ててくれましたか？
Number 7.
Time for a nap. You lose. Ouch!
Tekken featured fourth wall breaks in past games, but Tekken 7 I feel had the most amount of camera hate in the series, where I couldn't decide which one is best. They're mostly in the win poses. The one intro that had a literal break is Brian Fury, who throws his bat at the camera and laughs because he's a jerk. As for the win poses, let's go in order of least to most destructive against the camera, starting off with Lei Wulong. He's doing some posing, nothing too crazy, but in the middle, he hits his hand against the camera, leaving it intact, but jamming his finger against it. He's all good though, he laughs about it by the end. Next up is Marduk, who tackles the camera without damaging it, which is something he's been doing in all of his Tekken appearances. I like how the camera backs off once it realizes what Marduk is warming up to do. Speaking of attacking the camera, Miguel gives it a good ol' "what are you looking at?" and socks it, breaking it in the corner and it falls over. Is he saying that to us, the camera person, or the camera itself? Either way, leave Miguel alone. And for the biggest camera damage, we have Jack 7, who runs forward until he collides with the camera. And you know 400 pounds of metal coming in at full force is gonna break that thing. I know Jack tends to overdo it in his win poses, like when he pounds on his chest endlessly, but why did he do this? Was the camera a threat to him, or was he just like, I'm gonna do a fun thing now? Also, shoutouts to Julia, who sets up her livestream in her intro and uses our camera perspective on the win pose to show what's going on from her camera perspective, where she tells us to like and subscribe. And hey, that's a great idea to do to my channel too, also comment. Finally, in Tekken 8, we got a new type of fourth wall break with Azucena the Coffee Queen, where she signs the camera. As I said, I can't really pick a favorite from this bunch, but let's just say Julia because I appreciate a good channel promotion.
Get ready! Yay! Thanks for watching!
You win.
Ha! Don't forget to subscribe!
Number 6.
Reptile wins. Milena wins.
I love Mortal Kombat 9 win poses, aka Mortal Kombat 2011. Most of them are very fitting for the characters, and some of them get a bit experimental since it was a big redesign for the series. I could do a whole analysis on that. But for the topic at hand, some of these win poses result in the camera being affected. I first gotta shout out Kenshi's fatality in this game, where he slams the opponent against the camera a few times and it cracks the glass before he slices the opponent. But you don't even need to kill your opponent to see a fourth wall break. They're just in the basic win screens. I feel about half the win poses in the game feature the character looking directly at the camera in some manner, which could qualify as a fourth wall break, but beyond that, we have characters that go right for the camera upon victory. There's no real pattern or consistency to it. NetherRealm Studios just seemed to do it whenever they had a cool idea for a character. Let's start with Cyrex, who celebrates by planting a bomb and teleporting away as it explodes to crack the screen. That seems to be the go-to fourth wall break, the classic glass break. Next up is a contender for the most famous character in the series, Sub-Zero, who freezes the screen from the inside. A nice differentiation on the ways to break the glass. That might cause some internal damage to my TV, but I'm sure it's no worse than some condensation, right? Then we have the guest character Freddy Krueger, who notices he has some delicious jam on his claws, so he does a quick spin to get it on the screen. I never knew if this was a reference to one of the movies, or if it was their own fourth wall break where it's something like, "Ooh, Freddy's coming for ya, this blood or jelly is your first person view." Following that is Sector, who sprays a bit of fire right in the camera's face, but there's no damage in the aftermath. Then we have Reptile, who uses his tongue to pull in the camera and just kinda hiss at it close up. My friends and I used to have a nonsensical joke that he's saying, "Noodles, noodles, where are my noodles?" during this. This wind pose also might be a reference to when Scorpion did the same thing with his kunai in the PlayStation 2 era games. And finally, my favorite is Melina, who goes the most wild. She leaps several feet to grab onto the camera and go feral for a second until she stares at you while breathing heavily. She also takes off her mask during the brief moment that she's off screen so she can show us her vicious teeth and get some blood on the camera. I think she does this because she detects fresh meat behind the screen. Honestly, I'd invite her in if she wouldn't kill me. And to overanalyze this for a second, if she does this on a stage like the pit where jumping forward is a 50-foot drop, where is the camera that she's leaping onto attached to? Is it hanging, floating, on some surface parallel that we never see? Regardless, I feel Melina's doing a risky maneuver just to show us that she's a bit crazy. Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, "I'm a mama, out of my mind." I should do a Melina fan cam at some point.
Melina wins. Flawless.
Number 5. Street Fighter likes to surprise us every so often with a super move that gives us the good old camera splat. While I feel this gimmick was perfected in Street Fighter 6, the original Street Fighter super that interacts with the camera that sticks out to me is Seth in Street Fighter 4. He absorbs you into his Tundon engine, and after giving you the spin cycle for a bit, he flings you towards the screen. If it's not a KO, the opponent just hard bounces off it and it sounds like it hurts. If it does KO, you get a nice freeze frame on the opponent's face in max pain, and with how janky some of those Street Fighter 4 models looked, you get to see some of these characters in ways we've never seen them before. Blanca's eyes are about to pop out. This returned for Street Fighter V, but something about it didn't feel as impactful when it hit for Seth's super there. I did like it when Abigail punches the opponent through the screen though. And finally, we reach Street Fighter 6, where we have the pinnacle of the screen splat. For a select few supers, they end with the character hitting the screen, and you can see the exact point where their face hits that glass of the screen. It really does feel like they're right against my monitor. The detail on that is crazy. This effect is seen in both of Elena's level 3 supers, and Chun-Li's level 3 when she has low health. For these supers, after their array of moves that kick the opponent in a direction that defies the 2D plane, it gives us a nice face plant into the glass. I get that they don't want to overdo this effect, but why Elena and Chun-Li specifically? They're not particularly fourth wall breaking characters to me. It made sense why Seth did it since he was a final boss, but I'm interested to know why these ladies got this feature to their visuals over anyone else. Regardless, it's one of those moments that I can't help but get hyped for once I see that super animation start. Number 4.
Might decide the entire. Let's go!
Be
Jenny or Jenny Bairn premiered in the Fatal Fury series in Garo Mark of the Wolves and has been a semi-reoccurring character in the King of Fighters games. Also, I never knew her name was pronounced Jenny until recent games, and I am really fighting off the urge to call her Bon Jeanette as I've called her for years. Anyway, Jenny is a rich lady who became a pirate due to boredom, and her moveset has a mixture of combat techniques and improvised moves. She's got some fancy leg work and wind powers, but who doesn't love her super move where she throws any sort of finesse out the window to beat the ever-loving crap out of you with her high heel. In the Garo and King of Fighters 11 version of the super, she does the classic beatdown with the shoe, and then she looks at the camera shocked about how she just lost her temper. I never really viewed this as a fourth wall break, since I thought it was her having some sort of self-realization about losing her cool, but when this super was reimagined for the King of Fighters 15, it makes the fourth wall break much more obvious. After the assault with the shoe and swinging the opponent upwards, she looks back at the camera, or even the player, sort of embarrassed, and then she turns directly to it to apologize for losing her cool for a second. I like it. It's very cute. She seems very sincere here, like, hey man, sorry, I'm not normally like this. I just get very, very mad if someone hurts my arm. My favorite part of the super, besides the fourth wall break, is right after the counter variant of it activates, she has a pose where her anger is rising. You can see her mentally snapping if you look into her eyes. Another funny thing is they did not make a version of her motto with the shoe off, so the camera angles it where her barefoot foot is always off screen after she takes off her shoe to start the beatdown, just so they don't have to show her magically materializing shoe. Once you notice it, you can't take your eyes off it.
Might decide the entire. Let's go! That's KO! Player 2 wins!
Number 3. The break here is so cool with context. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Whole Horse has a stand that's a gun he can summon at any time, where he can control the speed and pathway of the bullets. He works with another stand user, Jay Guile, who uses the stand Hanged Man, which has the ability to exist on reflective surfaces and attack the reflection of his victims, which affects their physical body. In the JoJo's fighting game from the 90s, Heritage for the Future, Whole Horse has a super where he shoots at the screen, which creates cracks and thereby reflective surfaces. One of the bullet holes is parallel to the opponent, meaning they're reflected on the glass shards, allowing Hanged Man to come out and go for the stab. It's extremely clever how they acknowledge the screen exists with the glass and then take it a step further to combo with the stand power. Creepy too. Overall, this JoJo's game has a semi-reoccurring theme of characters acknowledging the camera, mostly involving the characters attacking it on the windscreen, or just them acknowledging the player, but Whole Horse and Jay Guile take the fourth wall break a step above the rest with their teamwork. They'll have you ducking for cover when you hear "Aye aye, Captain." Number 2. Neko Arc from Melty Blood is a cartoon cat creature who lives outside of reality and parodies the main character with her appearance. Her existence is really just a fourth wall break on its own, since you get that vibe watching her fight. There is a story explanation of how she can summon more versions of herself since she's a Neko spirit, but even the writers eventually say screw it and just say, yeah, we like her because she's silly. As mentioned, her moveset summons a bunch of other Neko arcs, and it's really a pick your favorite scenario on which Neko arc you like the best, but there's a lot to pick from. She has a sword full of other Neko arcs. My favorite is the one with the tire. That is such a good face. Though the most in-your-face fourth wall breaks during combat are during some big moves, mainly when she crashes into the screen to start her super, classic, turns into a streamer to obscure the heads-up display and give stat boosts, which is technically another Neko arc doing that, but still, that's basically a fourth wall break, and she can even summon the icon of Kinogu Nasu, co-creator of the series. But the most blatant blatant fourth wall break for her is in the story mode of Melty Blood Type Lumina. The writers didn't even disguise it. Neko Arc just talks about how long it's been since she was in a game with another character, Mash, and when you beat the story mode with her, they win Expired Fish, where she acknowledges that they must not even be in the right game universe, so they go surfing through dimensions to find the right one. I unapologetically love wacky humor like this, so it works for me. Plus, look at this character. Were you expecting something serious? Give me the goofs, give me the camp.
SOS 信号キャッチ、いざ宇宙へ。地球大爆発。ラストアークフィニッシュ。昼飯はニャカオじゃにゃいのか。
Here's the part of the video where I build up who number 1 is by dropping hints and giving a bit of reasoning as the number slowly zooms in, and I show the other entries for a few seconds each in the background. But the entry feels so obvious, I don't even need that build up. I think I even put him in the thumbnail. Number 1.
How did anyone ever enjoy these games without me in them? Whoa! Back! More in your face! Feel the love of the hyper combo! And it's a home run! This is the hyper combo! I get the cover of the next Street Fighter for this, right, Capcom? Right?
I mentioned in my Win Poses That Go Hard video that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had an array of characters that go after the camera during their win poses, but their actions pale in comparison to how much Deadpool breaks the fourth wall in this game. He's famous for doing it in his comics, along with just being an all-around funny man who happens to be a skilled assassin with a healing factor. This game was around the time I remember Deadpool getting big outside the comics too, so there was some hype overall to this appearance. His basic moveset, though, is pretty much fourth wall safe, since his moves seem to be within the bounds of the game, just a fun rushdown moveset with some good range tools like his guns, but with every other facet of him, including his super moves, no wall is safe. For example, his shooting super move, he says his own sound effects. His taunt is him literally just saying that this is his taunt with a physical word bubble that can interact with the opponent and do minimal damage.
This is my taunt! Taunt button!
If he tags in, he'll do some cool ninja moves until he realizes he's facing the wrong way, which no one ever sees this since you tend to cancel out of the animation so you don't get hit when you tag in.
Jab! Jab! Bring it! Oh, wrong way.
When he gets knocked out, he blames the player or asks if he still gets paid.
I still get paid though, right?
Got ya!
And for his intros and outros, he has a gaggle of lines referencing related video games or the crossover itself.
Hey, I freaking love Street Fighter! Autograph your spleen for me? Magneto! Welcome to die! You see that? That's how you beat Wolverine, people. And you don't even need optic glass!
Even the interactions that are not fourth wall breaks and are just funny moments are still great. Shuma Gorath wants to know why Deadpool keeps calling him Calamari, and Deadpool even gets She-Hulk's attention where she acknowledges her own fourth wall breaking tendencies.
If there's ever an NBC4, I'll destroy you there too, Wade.
On that topic, his win pose goes for the classic camera acknowledgement, where he scolds the player. I like how one of his generic win lines is about how he's mad at the player for not recording his epic win, which is funny now when streaming is a lot more common than it was in 2011, so it's very possible they were recording it.
You were recording that, weren't you, player? No? What do you mean you weren't recording that?
Finally, what everyone probably wanted to see is his level 3 hyper combo, where he obliterates the fourth wall. It's a counter where if it's successful, he grabs one of the health bars, bonks the opponent on the head with it, and then swings the super meter like a bat while acknowledging each bar and tauntingly saying it's the hyper combo.
This is the hyper combo!
All these animations are so well executed. The only thing that sucks about it is it's a counter that costs 3 bars of meter, which is a big investment for a counter, so if anything, it's rare that you would use it, making it feel extra special when you hit it. So in conclusion, Deadpool smashes the wall and the competition as the number 1 of these fighting game fourth wall breakers.
More in your face! Feel the love of the hyper combo! And it's a hyper combo KO! You I'm down here busting my ass while you sit on yours watching me jump around? How is that fair?
Now, what did you think? Did all these characters shatter your expectations as well as the fourth wall, or are they combined to their universe more than I let on? And what are some of your favorite fourth wall breaks in fighting games, whether I discussed them or not? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.